In the summer of 2011, Netflix was a Wall Street darling. Its stock was on a tear, and it seemed unstoppable. But in a matter of weeks, a single decision would trigger one of the fastest and most brutal stock crashes in modern corporate history. The story of the Qwikster debacle isn't just about a bad CEO apology video. It's a high-stakes case study in how a company's greatest strength, its core business, can become an existential threat, forcing a leader into a catastrophic gamble. By mid-2011, Reed Hastings had built Netflix into a 995 mailing juggernaut with over 23 million US subscribers. But he saw the future, and it was streaming. The problem was, streaming was expensive, and it threatened to kill the profitable 995 business. The company was on a collision course with itself. Streaming required massive content licensing deals, but the 995 business was still the cash cow. How do you fund the future without destroying the present? Hastings' solution was bold. Split the company in two, one for streaming, one for DVDs. On July 12th, he announced a massive price hike, bundling the two services for $15.99, up from $9.99. The internet exploded in outrage, but the price hike was just the beginning. To soften the blow, he revealed the 995 service would be spun off into a new, separate company called Qwikster. Customers would need 2 accounts, 2 bills, and 2 logins. The move was seen as a catastrophic miscalculation. It didn't solve the cannibalization problem, it just made the customer experience worse. The backlash wasn't just online rage, it was financial annihilation. From its peak on July 13th, Netflix's stock went into freefall. The graph looks like a cliff dive. In just over 2 months, the company lost more than 70% of its market value. Over $12 billion in market cap. Gone. The speed of the decline was historic. It wasn't a slow bleed, it was a hemorrhage driven by a perfect storm of pricing anger and strategic confusion. With #CancelNetflix trending, Reed Hastings tried to contain the damage. On September 18th, he posted a YouTube apology. It featured him staring into a candle, calling the situation really awkward. It only made things worse. The video was widely mocked. It felt out of touch. A CEO looking at a candle while his company's value was evaporating. The brand's trust with its subscribers was shattered. The following month, Hastings reversed course. On October 10th, he announced the cancellation of the Qwikster spin-off. He admitted splitting the services was a mistake, but crucially, the price hike remained. But the true cost of the chaos was revealed on October 24th. Netflix's Q3 earnings report was a disaster. The company had lost 800,000 US subscribers in a single quarter, a massive miss from its own guidance. To put that loss in perspective, 800,000 subscribers was more than the entire combined subscriber base of Netflix's 2 biggest streaming competitors at the time, Hulu Plus and Amazon Prime Video. They didn't just lose customers, they lost a market. This earnings bomb sent the stock even lower, towards its final low point. The financial bleed was staggering. Analysts estimated the blunder was costing Netflix roughly $40 million in subscriber revenue per month. Yet, even in the wreckage, there were signs of life. While the US business was hemorrhaging, the company's international expansion was just beginning. Global subscriber numbers kept ticking upward, providing a lifeline. The core business was also still growing. In 2012, even after the crisis, Netflix's total revenue hit $4.44 billion. The underlying demand for its service was undeniable, but the company had to fundamentally rebuild its strategy. The Qwikster crisis, as catastrophic as it was, forced Reed Hastings to confront the future head-on. There would be no more half measures, no more protecting the 995 past. The only way out was through, into pure streaming. This painful reset led to the most important pivot in Netflix's history. With the 995 business effectively doomed, the company poured everything into becoming a content creator, not just a distributor. This was its new, singular focus. The bet on original programming began. In February 2013, Netflix released House of Cards. It wasn't just a show, it was a statement. A signal to the industry and investors that a new Netflix was being built from the ashes. The strategy worked. House of Cards was a hit, and it proved Netflix could produce premium content. Subscriber growth accelerated again, and the market began to take notice. The recovery was swift. By the end of 2013, Netflix's stock had not only recovered from its $53 low, but had completely surpassed its 2011 all-time high. The company was now worth more than before the crash. Global subscribers grew to over 44 million by the end of 2013, up from 29 million a year prior. The crisis had become a catalyst. Hastings later described the Qwikster episode as the tough love the company needed to evolve. The lesson from the Qwikster disaster is brutal, but clear. Sometimes the biggest threat to a business is its own success. To survive a technological shift, a company may have to be willing to cannibalize its most profitable asset. Reed Hastings' blog post and candle video will live in infamy as examples of how not to communicate change. But the underlying strategy of forcing a total pivot, no matter the short-term cost, is what ultimately saved the company. Today, Netflix is a global streaming empire. The 995 business is a relic, but its transformation began with a spectacular, self-inflicted wound. A $12 billion mistake that, in hindsight, might have been the best thing that ever happened to them.